Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio. Hi, guys, and welcome to the Thursday version of the Calm Down podcast. Like we tell you, we have one that comes out our pregame earlier in the week. It's just to get you updated on everything that's gone over the weekend. I would like to update everyone that yes, I'm ignorant towards rap music. I like to act like I can hang. I can't. I fucked up Big Papi's song. It wasn't y'all with Jay-Z and Kanye. It was just Jay-Z and Rick Ross, and it was me, you know I got it. Anyways, that big 34.
Fuck with me. Fuck with me.
Yeah.
You missed it. You missed an important word. You missed an important word there.
We're gonna bleep out all of it. But when that beauty would step up to it and it was all business, you know the game was either gonna get tied up or you were gonna be ahead by a run or two. I love it. I think that's when baseball was at its best. By the way, baseball is starting up. But I love the Big Papi. Anyways, just wanted to clear that up.
The question, in case you guys did miss the pregame, which if you did, it comes out on Monday. It's a 10-minute teaser of what this podcast will be all about. We had a wonderful question from one of our listeners, JMank3, for a little shout out that asked what our walk-up song would be if we were baseball players. And mine was going to be any Notorious B.I.G. song. And Erin said it would now be Fuck With Me. You know I've got it.
What did I say?
Well, we'll bleep it all out. You forgot the with.
Which me?
So with or without me.
Which?
That's definitely not going to get the crowd going. You two, where are you? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back from an incredible vacation that Erin invited me to. My voice is hoarse from it. My tailbone is broken because I took to the slopes like I was Peekaboo Street. I mean, I had visions of not Sugar Plums dancing in my head, but me careening, like skiing down the slopes with such precision because the last time I skied was a couple years ago. I was up at Whistler and I thought I was cute. Anyways, I've skied in my life, but forgot how fucking hard it is. And then you get this one over here. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, Erin is very modest about a lot of things in her life. She should not be modest about what a great skier she is.
I'm not.
You are so amazing to me. I was, at one point, I fucking took the skis off and slid down the hill. So Erin Andrews, ladies and gentlemen, a little fun fact, is an incredible skier and wanted no one to know this about herself.
No, I'm not. First of all, we are back from our trip. And before we get into the details of You're Not Shaun White, is Shaun White a snowboarder? You didn't even put a snowboarder on.
But I was not. I wasn't Shaun Black. I'm just black and blue.
That trip we just went on, I mean, there are, and you guys can probably relate to this, there are times that I was just cleaning out my purse and there were remnants of the trip in there. I was putting things away and I would just start laughing. Like, it was one of the funniest trips I've ever been on. And it felt so good when people were like, how was your trip? I'm like, the best. There was just it was not even about what we did, because at one point, and we'll get to it, we all laid on couches and watched 4 Christmases in the month of March. It was just the laughter that ensued. We laughed, and sometimes we're laughed at for hours at a time. At one point, I thought I peed myself, but didn't know I did, you know? So it's like, that's how much laughing there was. But let's get back to day one of the trip. Charissa was such a go-getter and was all about getting her equipment. We go up the hill. You did really, really well. And you even sang some rap. Do you sing rap or do you not?
Here's the thing. You know, you spit some game, you sing rap. I am an athlete. That's not me bragging. I don't know. Let's just go. Should I put my Letterman's jacket on for this part of the segment? Maybe.
Don Staley?
I grew up playing everything: soccer, basketball, volleyball, all the things. And so I do think, and it's whatever, I'm an athlete. There was one point when I was on the hill eating shit and I couldn't get up. I was like, you are a fucking athlete. Get up. I was like having a pep talk with myself. But skiing was something for me that was like, I hadn't done it in a couple years and I forgot. But then Erin was an incredibly patient individual and kept yelling out different techniques that help her. She's like, push up towards the mountain. And she was so sweet and kind. And I will never forget it, because it's like, there was one moment for anyone that has not skied in a while, or never skied, you think you're going to die. You think you're going to die out there and die alone. So she was wonderful. And the trip was, yes, to her point, so funny. But I just like walked off there and I was like, never again. No, I'm kidding. Not never again.
Okay. Also, for you avid skiers at home, just to let you know about the snow situation, it wasn't look, it's towards the end of the season. We were skiing in probably 45-degree weather. It hadn't snowed in a while. It was icy. It wasn't like a pow condition where if she fell softly. Our first, like, kind of to get us to like the trail we were going to go on. Yes, it's a little steep and scary, but the problem is Charissa had said, like, I'm all in. I know. Oh, she got off the lift. Okay. She goes down the first one. And I was like, okay, it's fine. I got us to some very level terrain. And we just were like, try to traverse like easily across the thing.
Oh,
and
look at her.
But honestly, Charissa, you nailed it. You had such a good attitude. You didn't get discouraged. The only time you got discouraged, which you should have gotten discouraged, is I really wanted to keep you away from this one part where I was like, this is it's even for me, a little treacherous. I don't really like it. We followed our friends, and unfortunately, we followed the wrong way.
Some double black diamond bitches that were like, where are we? Get me back to the bunny hill.
It was blue, but, and I hated it for her. And finally, she just ripped her skis off and she goes, I'm just sliding down on my butt. And even her attitude was so good about it. But one of my favorite parts is like the snow, as somebody that we ended up loving very much on the trip. He is the creator of Ming's Bangs. He kind of described the snow as mashed potatoes. Do not come at me like an avalanche with a comment like that. He described the snow as mashed potatoes and he was dead on about it. And so there was the final part where you were going down the mashed potatoes and it wasn't easy. And she fell and she just goes, I'm over it.
Screamed, I'm over it. And this is what I said to Erin when we got down the hill, finally, for me. I said, how you did not pull out your phone and record the nonsense that just happened. You guys, again, I have no problem being like an ass of any joke or embarrassing or whatever, because fuck it, like who cares? It was so bad. Who takes off their skis on a mountain and then just like sits on her ass and slides down it? Whatever. Anyway,
and I was trying to tell you, like, just put your skis parallel and just try to slide down the mountain so you don't have to like take them off. And the problem is, you guys, if you ski, you know you're wearing a helmet that protects your ears. And I'm like, just put your skis parallel. And she's like, what? I can't hear you. And I could tell she was getting frustrated. And I was like, it's okay. Don't worry. Whatever you need.
I'm not kidding. Erin showed me this side of you that we haven't been in like a situation where you're having to be like,
I'm good at anything.
Me on something. No, but like Paula came out in you and
several times.
Knock it off. No, Paula came out in you and the teacher in you was incredible. And she was so patient with me. But so that is my big takeaway was the laughter that I'm still having from the trip, but also Erin's incredible patience in adverse, treacherous situations. Also, here's what I'd like to discuss. I haven't taken, and this isn't like, woe was me, but I haven't like really taken a vacation in a minute.
Yeah.
I didn't respond to any texts.
You didn't have your phone at all. Half the time we didn't know where your phone was.
Literally, we'd go out at night and you're like, you have your phone? And I was like, no idea. And
one time we thought it was in the valet car.
Even asked, and the valet was so sweet, went back and looked. He goes, nowhere to be found. I was like, hey, fuck it. Maybe it's on the mountain with my integrity. But didn't matter to me. But the problem is I then got text messages from wonderful employees at House and Home or other things that I work on in the off season. And they're like, are you alive? And I'm like, is it a crime? I really have an issue. People are getting so used to, and again, we're beholden to clients and our responsibilities. That's fine. That's not what I'm talking about. But what's the average time that you can go without texting or responding back to a work situation and not have it be deemed negligent? Because you would have thought that I was just, abandoning this company forever or friends forever.
Right.
whatever.
I think that's why maybe
Lot of
people
whatevers.
set up the email and they say, listen, I'm out of pocket. I'm on a vacay. My response time may be delayed. I didn't do that either. I thought it
I
was
didn't
pretty
do
good.
that.
There was a couple of times I would, just not respond to people because I just didn't want to talk to anyone.
I forgot about the old out of pocket. No, are we saying out of pocket or out of office? Because
off the grid.
I'm in the house and home off. What?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you say?
But some people say I'm off the grid right now. I'm off the grid.
Oh, well, I was definitely off the grid in the slope. Somebody, where's the dogs looking for me?
You did a great time. You did a great job. You really, really did.
Yeah, but I just was like, wow, I didn't realize that this was such a thing where if you don't respond to someone's, even just a friend's text right away, it's like,
what was the worst you got?
Are you alive in all caps?
Well, I guess because also, too, it's not like we were like posting every move and all that kind of stuff. So maybe people just didn't understand. Yeah. And did you tell people
Which
you
was
were really
also
going
liberating.
Away? It was.
Does anyone really care about the every move?
But I was
every
sad
move I
one
make,
night we
every
didn't
step
get a picture, but just for our own, not for like the world, but just for my framing in Montana.
I got one of us on the slopes before the accident. But no, it was awesome. And it was just very, I don't know, a vacation is good for the soul in so many different ways. But yeah, laughter is the big takeaway, which I clearly am in a position in my life where I'm just saying, fuck it to everything. So I kept the vacation going and ended up in Las Vegas, where the lesson
how you
that
had
I
the
learned,
stamina, I don't know. Because I was like, I need to dry
me to your
out.
next party.
God.
Well, that's where I'm at today. Maybe that's why this voice is hoarse, because it is time.
I
Time has
have
the
just
essence.
acne coming out.
Oh my God, I have an appointment. Look at this.
Because our body's mad at us for what we did.
I know, fuck, I know. But you know what? Look, hey, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you're all stressed out,
my follicles have never been better. Just
right?
saying. My girls said to me, I told them all, how we just really had a really great time and everything. And then my doctor was like, hey, you look good. I have more than a starting lineup, which is great for me. And I just was just like, well, no. And then I just said to my girlfriends, I'm like, who knew after a bender I'd be all right? And they're like, you just needed to release. But that's we did.
Fun.
Was just I know, but I mean, it's hard when you've been you've gotten 6 months of work and all that kind of stuff. But it also depends on who you go with as well. I do believe that. I mean, you know, just the group that we were with was so fantastic. And the laughter, like I said, we ended up sitting or laying, and some people didn't know if they could put their feet up on the couch or if they could. But we ended up in the month of March watching Four Christmases, which I don't care if you watch that movie in October. It is fucking hilarious.
So funny.
There's so many great characters in it.
Wait, I'm singing your praises because I want to set the scene real quick. You were so nice. You know what? When you go out to dinner a few nights in a row at a restaurant or whatever, it's so nice to just sit on a couch and have dinner at the house. Yeah. So Erin arranges for this beautiful dinner, and it was so nice. We were in matching pajamas on the couch at 6:00, watching a movie and just laughing the entire time. But yeah, Vince Vaughn's face. In every movie he does.
And Kristen Chenoweth is hysterical in that movie. And I'm not saying I'm not a fan of hers, but she is just so funny with her boobs and her he's got gas. And God, she is just freaking funny. And the other actress, I don't know, with the cheese whiz, I mean, that is freaking hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. If you guys know we're talking about Four Christmases is with Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon. Yes. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Again, not limited to the holiday season. But so funny. He's about going back. Anyways, they dodged going to Christmases at their family and then end up having to go by default of a plane, whatever, being derailed. But speaking of plane, so booking a last minute flight to extend the vacation, fine. There's zero part about me that is bougie. I'll walk somewhere if I have to have a good time. Right. The only flight that was available was on Southwest. Okay, fine. That's a very whatever. For me, who has to go to Las Vegas once a month for extra.
Why was it so hard to get a flight? Because of the Final Four, the Grammys.
I thought that too. I didn't know it was the Grammys until we're on the flight, and the friends were with. I was like, wait, it's the
Doja
Grammys.
Cat
I was like,
sitting in 3B.
Well, exactly. Right. So But here's the conundrum, and I want to open it up for a little feedback from our incredible listeners. 2 tickets were booked on the same itinerary, okay? When it populates and it generates the seat numbers once you've checked in, we got one in A54 and we've got one in C32. Is the A54 supposed to stay back with the C32? Because if you guys are familiar with Southwest, you know that you board in your zones, and it's by the time you're C32, you're on the fucking wing of the plane.
Yeah.
So the A34 says, I'm going to hang back and wait for you to get on, me, C34. I said, no, don't do that. Procure some seats, get on there, whatever. By the time I came on, there's like no seats to be had. And I was
That's also like Jack on the Titanic getting off and being in the freezing waters. Like, you are risking your life. I mean, go save yourself. Get in an aisle or an emergency exit somewhere. Like, try to save the planet.
Exactly. So I thought that was very noble of me. I'm like, get on. Never forego the A54. But then it got us talking about the premature pre-board. And I'd like to explain this to you because I immediately text Larry and I said, have you ever done a skit or a bit on Curb, since, you know, I don't watch, on the premature pre-board? The premature pre-board is a real situation. And I'd like to know if any of you guys have seen a scenario where you know they don't need extra time. They're just taking advantage of the system.
And do
I
you
don't wanna
have
make
the
assumptions.
cojones to call them out?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a thing. It was the observation I made. And I'd be curious if any of you guys have had a situation out there where you're like, nope.
I'm going to tell you a true story right now. And like, I got kind of judged for it. So this is, I mean, I'm turning it into a serious situation, which why are we doing that? But I am, and I'll never forget it. My parents won't either. Right after 9/11 happens, horrible. It happens. You know, we're not flying, and I was dating a guy, I was in Tampa at the time, and I was dating a guy who was in Fort Lauderdale. So it's a 30-minute flight. Flights open back up. I went to go see him. My dad was very upset about that. He was like, really? My mom's like, it's probably the safest it'll ever be. It's a 30-minute flight. We're good. I mean, it's just where we were at the time. This is when you were showing your license before you boarded then. Remember when like just TSA was totally different, all the things. This guy didn't show his license to get on. And I mean, everybody remembers, like at that time we are panicked and we are looking at everyone cross-eyed. It's just like, who is the next person to board a flight? He didn't show his license. It made me very uneasy. It made me very pissed off. I told the flight attendants, I just said, I'm just going to let you know, he just got on without showing his license. Lord knows who he is. And they're like, please sit down and stop trying to cause a problem. And I was like, you know what? Oprah would tell me to say something. You see something, you say something. Say something. I was very upset.
And you said something and you were told to sit down.
And they got mad at me. They thought, they said, knock it off.
So this is the funny thing part of the vacation. I have a thing. I don't like when I can't contribute to something because it makes me feel whatever. And there's a situation where Erin was she's incredible on the whole trip, but she was like so generous. And she's like, no, I take care of this. I take care of this. And I kept saying, thank you over and over and over again. And she looks at me and she goes, knock it off.
Knock it off.
I was laughing so hard. She was like, I cannot hear it one more time. And I was like, I'm sorry. So funny. So,
what I will say this. Yeah. And like we were talking about with everything being so funny. And I know, I mean, people that have friends like that bring it out in them. And another part of this trip, which may not be funny for anybody else, but it was like we had won the lottery. We were in this bar that was playing their own music, and it was just not good. The music was bad. Our group was the only group that was like affected by it. We needed some more pep, spice, all salt and pepper. Oh, I would have taken that.
Anything. What's your man got to do with me?
Right. I ain't trying to hear that. So then you would go in the back and like try to talk to the bartender, or somebody else from our party went to the back and nobody's listening. It kind of felt like my day to day. And so finally I just sat there and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to get into the Bluetooth. It was like I cracked the international codes. I mean, I've been watching a lot of Succession, which we've documented. It was like I cracked the stock market all of a sudden I was playing Dre and Snoop Dogg, and it was like we
You
heard
guys, she
it and
cracked
we were
the
like,
mainframe. She got in.
the
She got
mainframe.
in when
I
we
got
were
into the
told that
mainframe.
you are not. There's
are
no way to
not.
penetrate this system. This is the
Nope.
CIA. You're not getting in. She leans over and she goes. We start to hear the song she's playing. We're like, is this it? Did you get in? She looks down. She goes, I got in.
I got it.
We thought we had just robbed a fucking bank. And
I
oh my
sunk
God,
your
oh my
battleship.
God.
Like it was all I've got. It's like the part
Point
with
break.
Bridesmaids where it's like, I know where all the nukes are. And you know what? Like I was Melissa McCarthy and it was like, I got it. It was awesome.
Incredible.
And then I went to the bathroom and it all went to shit. Not me.
She goes to the bathroom.
Bluetooth.
She handed her phone to someone else, and it was about. She goes, I go to the bathroom for 2 minutes, and that's a wrap. Well, there wasn't. Oh my gosh.
It was great.
So many things. Is it also annoying, and you guys can tell us this, when like people have been on a trip or do something or have like an experience, like, oh, so fun. You're like, okay, all right.
Okay.
We get it.
But then I think this is an interesting situation. And this happened to me after my wedding too. Like you kind of mix groups that haven't been mixed before and everyone has a great time and you're like, we're going to be best friends forever. I remember a certain situation like that. And then we all tried to get together again and it wasn't the same. Maybe because we weren't as drunk as we were at my wedding, but it was all like, we're going to do everything together for the rest of our lives because of that moment we had on the dance floor and the shot ski. And then it's like, which is too much? I mean, you know, where are we with all this now? Do we still love each other? Are we involved still? I don't know. How much is too much?
I think you give it a second,
a little bit. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You like anything. Like you always tell me, let's calm down.
Let's calm down.
Let's take it easy.
I need to calm down.
Because I'm a 0 to 60. I'm a gone in 60 seconds. You go ahead and give me an Angelina Jolie and a Shelby Cobra and it is on. And you're like, okay, pump the brakes. Sister.
Well, it's like now we have our own text chain with this group and I made it up because I had to leave early and I was sad. And I was on the plane all by myself, Celine Dion, and I made the title up and I put the photo up and now
you were missed
the other day and Jarret saw it because Jarret didn't get to come. He was working and he was like, oh, we all have our own text chain now, huh? And I was like, oh, sure do. And then our group started a text chain to add him and it's just not the same. There's not a nickname and there's not a picture. And guess what? I don't want there to be.
Here's the other thing. How about the misappropriated text when you think, because if he's listening.
He's not. He's upstairs.
Mainframe you hacked. No. When you accidentally
I got in.
It was incredible.
It was like I won gold in the Olympics.
We were so perplexed. Anyone that knows, first of all, half the time I can't even get into the Wi-Fi in my house. I'm like, the Bluetooth, is it the same code? Is it a capital? Is it not a capital? I don't know. But when you want to play music, you know, when you're in that headspace and you're like, no, we need good music. Because there's nothing better than keeping a party going than good music. DJs, I understand why your residency in Vegas is worth $20 million a night because music is everything. If you guys, I went to Delilah. That's not name dropping. I had a reservation, but it was my first time going to the one in Vegas. It was incredible.
What is it?
So Delilah's a restaurant / like club or whatever. And
is it like what you took me to in New York, where I walked in with a blazer and I lost it, and I came out, I had a bun in, and I walked out with a wet head? Is that the same thing?
For everyone that has never been to Ainsworth or Bounce in New York, that's what she's referring to. I was like, come meet me at this place. We're watching games. It began with an
F.
Oh,
it was something else.
You're talking about where Whitney was when she.
It was a white tablecloth. I was meeting you for brunch.
That was,
I came in a navy blazer.
I
lost it.
That was
Bagatelle. I mean, Jesus.
Well, things took a turn because we found out Whitney Houston died while at brunch. So, I mean, I Will Always Love You became that, and I want to dance with somebody.
Things took a turn when the sparklers came out and the windows shut down and things started fogging up, besides my memory.
Details. I don't know what you do at brunch. I get omelets and sparklers, okay?
What's Delilah's?
Delilah's, because here's the place that I'm at in my life. I love to have a good time, but like,
do tell.
It's embarrassing. Well, you can tell. I mean, I couldn't even, my hairdryer broke today, which is another thing we'll get to. See that? Did you guys see this? Well, you can't. If you're watching on YouTube, you did, but look at that breakage.
Where are you at in your life right now? No.
You can't go to like
No.
clubs at this point. Like, who let the old lady in? So the place that you have to go is a dinner spot that turns into a club, but you've already procured your position at table 4 where you're still there. It's not creepy. You're there. Fine.
How does it
So
turn into a
Delilah's-
club? Like Bagatelle? Is it Bagatelle
Yeah, so like
or
music.
Bagatelle? Got it.
It's fine. But let's say, like, for example, I was told by a friend that Usher was there one night and he's like, jumps up on the stage and starts performing. Or Justin Bieber did that last time he was there. So you don't know what you're going to get. Fine. Great. But this was this was like it was like a club, but I didn't have to get up from the table and I was ordering a surf and turf. It was like the best of all worlds. I didn't have to jockey for a position. I didn't have to just drink Red Bull. Martinis and
Was
music.
there a dance floor?
There was a dance floor. I, again, showed some restraint and let the young girls out there to bust a move, but it was great. The point of this story was what?
I don't know, but can I ask one more ignorant question? Is Delilah's a new thing? Is it new? Is it new?
Delilah's not a new thing in LA.
Heard about
it's
it
new
recently.
in Las Vegas. It's new in Las Vegas.
It is new
but
in
I
Las
can't-
Vegas.
Yeah. I can't remember what the point was.
Who owns it?
Oh,
I mean, not that. I'm sure my husband.
it's a restaurant group. I don't know what the point was, but bringing it back to being old, Vegas is different for me now. But Vegas for me is always gambling. I love roulette. This is the last Vegas part of story I'm going to tell. All the 24 hours I'm there, I always bet on 23 red. Michael Jordan, it's a go-to. I always bet on black. Larry Bird 33, Derek Jeter number 2, John Elway red 7, like 21 red, Deion Sanders, 24 Ken Griffey.
You gamble
like
Larry
sports
Bird?
numbers. Yeah, 33 black is Larry Bird. So on the roulette table, but every single time I bet 23 red. I'm up, I have 300 and I think it was like $50, whatever it was in chips. Normally you go to the cashier, cash them in, whatever. I like to save mine. It makes me feel like I like leave with some money that I can't spend. I save the chips and bring them back to Vegas the next time. This particular time, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take a chance here. I'm going to throw it on. You can also just bet the color, red or black. So I'm like, you know what? I never do this, but let me just throw this last little amount of winnings on black. See what happens. Wheel is turning, wheel is turning, wheel is slowing down. Wheel is slowing down. Guess what it lands on? 23 fucking red. The entire time I was there, I put money on it and it didn't hit. The one time I have $350. So $350 times the roulette table, 36, whatever pays out. I would have won like $8,000. The one time I don't put it on there. And the lesson to myself here was, for you guys at home, stick with your instincts. Never stray from what you do consistently that has worked in your life. 23 red has always worked for me, and I didn't stick with it. So that's my lesson to myself.
It happens.
Anyways.
First time I went to Vegas with my husband, I had a raging UTI and I didn't know about it until we were on, I think, the flight there. And I had to go to the bathroom a couple of times. And I was like, oh my God, this is my first trip away with this guy. I'm peeing blood. I have no way to get an antibiotic. So I started shoving cranberry vodkas down my throat when we got there because I was like, I'm going to be a trooper. I don't want this guy to think I'm a loser or a wuss. But anybody, male or female, it's on Succession right now. Mr. Roy has a UTI. He gets all crazy. It hurts so bad. I remember I was taking a shower. I was doubled over in the shower, hurting. Finally got some antibiotics in me. What a gal. But you also know when you have a raging UTI, there seems to be a theme with me of peeing my pants, that you end up peeing your pants. And I remember we were dancing at a club and I was like, I just pissed myself.
No, you did not. No,
I couldn't hold it.
There's no worse feeling in the entire world than a UTI. My gynecologist and I have a
or
great
a kidney
relationship.
stone.
We've talked about that. But holy shit, no, you didn't.
But you know what? UTI medication should be over the counter. I'm sorry. Enough of this bullshit of where I need a prescription. What if I'm in Vegas? What if I'm somewhere? It should be over the counter. Right, we all know what it is. Just give us something. Give us a scribe.
I'm gonna give you the script.
It's not that Azos. That doesn't do it because my UTIs. No, because mine go full-blown kidney infection. They're like a deep, I don't know I have it until it's a kidney infection and I'm puking and I have a fever. Just
here's the embarrassing thing, though,
the
about the
Macrobid over the counter. Come on.
Yeah. Now, okay, here's the next question. Are you someone that's willing to take Are you? Well, you are, because you're not a rule breaker like me. Where they always say with antibiotics, take the whole thing. I always forget to, like, once the symptoms goes away and the burning and the urgency, I stop taking it. And then it's like, I wonder why it came back.
Did you know that you could take your prescriptions also like 2 years after the date? They're still fine.
I had no idea you could do that. Why would that be okay?
But I guess why would you do
there's not
it
an expiration?
I had a doctor tell me it's still okay because I was going to get something done and I needed like a strong ibuprofen and I had one from another surgery and I was like, it says it was expired 2 years ago. She's like, it's fine. Okay. Anyways,
funny you say
what?
Well, because I had that weird rash thing on the inside of my knees I keep talking about, and it's like, what is this? And then the doctor. Well, the doctor was like, it can stress induce, and so it's finally gone away. It's finally gone away. But the doctor said to me, the dermatologist, when she gave it to me, she was like, and don't use this anywhere else if you have a rash. And I was like, I wouldn't. And she goes, but I have to say that because people do. I'm like, I don't misappropriate prescriptions to other ailments. No, I'm not like, hey, I've got a rash on my face. Let me go ahead and throw this. She goes, you'd be surprised.
I'm not going to say the details of it, but I had a nurse ask me if whatever. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, you'd be surprised. I was like, people are fucking disgusting.
So
meanwhile,
weird.
Disgusting, but make macrobid something you can have over the counter. Come on.
It's a great point. It is, because those UTIs come out of nowhere and there's no warning.
I know.
There's no premature pre-boarding there. They just say, get on.
Get on, or you're going to the hospital with like a kidney infection, or you're Logan Roy and you're like, your brain is affected at the shareholders meeting.
Not the shareholders meeting. I'm not going. You just came from a meeting. You're very professional. I, however, thank God, didn't have a meeting today because my hair dryer broke again without any warning. This hair is wet, and it's like I'm going for the hair wet look again. I'm like 20 years late to a fashion thing hair as well. Anyways,
Ryan is reminding us about hot curling irons and flat irons, and then we wrap.
That's where I'm getting to. So when I went to go dry my hair and the hair dryer didn't work, I was like, well, shit, can I take the curling iron? And I was like, no, don't do that. On the pregame, Erin alluded to the fact that her hair was breaking off because the setting on the curling iron is too high. Would you care to revisit the story so we can open this up?
So I have 2 sets of curling irons. I have one that I keep in my suitcase nonstop, and then I have one at my house. And I have been using the one that I travel with at my house more often. It is one where you can set the temperature. I don't think that should be allowed for people in real life because I'm not a hairstylist. I don't know what the temperature should be at. I always just put it at 410. Why wouldn't I? I'm not cooking salmon. I'm trying to curl my bangs. Like, I don't even have bangs, but trying to curl what I have of my real hair. So here's the deal. I've noticed that it's breaking off. I noticed that I've got a lot of my hair breaking off, and I've been looking at pictures from this past year, and I'm like, my hair looks longer. Well, what's the difference? What's the common denominator? The 410 setting on the curling iron. If we have hairstylists out there, Ryan Randall, if you're listening, what setting should we have it on the curling iron? Because I think I'm overdoing the salmon, AKA my real hair.
It's a great question.
I like the shit where it's already preset. Dominique,
does it go? What does your curling iron go up to?
I mean, I shouldn't even be allowed to know. But I'm never
that's
going
what I'm saying. Maybe
But now I'm like, what are we doing? 350? What I'm doing is I'm going to the curling iron that doesn't have a temperature setting because I trust that, and my hair wasn't breaking with that. We should be allowed to get macrobid over the counter, but not be allowed to have curling irons that we pick our own setting. That's crazy.
It's a great point.
Thank you.
I always on that flat iron go straight up to the top because I'm not the person plugging that thing in 20 minutes ahead of a styling session. I need an instant hot situation. And all of a sudden I have a bob.
I mean, I don't need that.
What about Bob? Look at this. I got nothing.
Bill Murray?
Nothing. Dr. Leo Marvin? Get him on line one. He's got a lot of diagnosing to do. You know what, you guys? This has been incredible. I hope for us, I hope that it was a great recap for you guys as well. Please DM us any questions that you have about anything or any answers that you have about over-the-counter UTI medicine, curling iron, hot iron settings, or anything in between. Love you all. Thank you. Erin, thank you.
Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.